Berlin, 1989, the night the wall fell. A cold November night. The year, 1989. A wall that divided a city, a world, for nearly 3 decades is about to fall. Crowds gather, tension rises. And then, like a dam breaking, history surges forward. This is the story of the fall of the Berlin Wall, the moment when East met West and the Cold War cracked open. A divided world. After World War II, Germany was split in two. The East was controlled by the Soviet Union and the West by the Allies. Berlin, though fully within East Germany, was also divided. In 1961, the Berlin Wall was built to stop East Germans from fleeing to the West. It became a stark symbol of the Cold War: concrete, barbed wire, and armed guards. Families were torn apart. Friends could only wave across the barrier. Escape attempts were deadly. Over 100 people died trying to cross. The wall was more than a physical structure. It was a psychological prison. Life on both sides. In the East, life was governed by the Stasi, the secret police. Everything was monitored. Freedom of speech was restricted. Western media was banned, but people found ways to smuggle it in. Despite the repression, many East Germans lived ordinary lives, going to work, raising families, but always under surveillance. In the West, Berlin became a hub of culture, capitalism, and resistance. Western pop music, graffiti art on the wall, and a vibrant youth culture stood in stark contrast to the silence just meters away. The winds of change. By the 1980s, the Soviet Union was changing. Mikhail Gorbachev introduced reforms, glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring. These ideas gave people hope. In East Germany, protests started. In Leipzig, crowds chanted, "Wir sind das Volk," "We are the people." The pressure was mounting. Thousands of East Germans fled through neighboring countries like Hungary and Czechoslovakia, which had begun opening their borders. The East German government tried to control the situation, but it was unraveling fast. The night it happened, on November 9, 1989, an East German official mistakenly announced that travel restrictions would be lifted immediately. In truth, the law wasn't yet official, but it was too late. Word spread like wildfire. Thousands rushed to border crossings. The guards, overwhelmed and without clear orders, eventually opened the gates. Berliners from both sides met at the wall, hugging, crying, climbing atop it. People began chipping away at the wall with hammers and picks. The wall that had separated them for 28 years was crumbling before their eyes, around the world. The images of the fall of the wall were broadcast globally. It became the defining symbol of the end of the Cold War. Political leaders scrambled to respond. Gorbachev chose not to intervene. US President George H.W. Bush reacted cautiously, not wanting to provoke the Soviets. But for ordinary people, the message was clear. The Iron Curtain was falling. One by one, other Eastern Bloc countries followed. Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Romania all saw revolutions, mostly peaceful, that toppled communist regimes. The aftermath. In the months that followed, Germany began the process of reunification. On October 3, 1990, East and West Germany officially became one nation again. The Berlin Wall was demolished almost entirely, though pieces of it remain as memorials. Reunification brought challenges, economic disparities, social integration, political tensions, but it also brought hope, resilience, and a deep sense of shared identity. What the wall taught us. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just about Germany. It was about people everywhere longing for freedom. It was a victory for nonviolence, for courage, for human connection. It taught us that walls can fall, both physical and invisible. Today, the Brandenburg Gate stands not as a symbol of division, but of unity. And as people walk freely through Berlin, we remember that night in 1989 when history shifted and the world changed forever.